Hi, welcome to Virtually Sunday. My name is Tony Pichler, Executive Director for Envision Greater Green Bay here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. This weekend we have two really great stories, I think, from our scripture reading. And so the first one comes from the book of Genesis, and it is the story of Abraham bargaining with God. God is considering destroying the communities of Sodom and Gomorrah because of the sinfulness that he is seeing in the people in those communities. And so Abraham wants to try to save those communities, save those cities. And so he bargains with God. He says, God, if there's 50 innocent people, that they're not sinful, will you save the city? Will you spare destroying those cities? And God says, you know what? If there's 50 innocent people, I'll let it go. I will not destroy them. Then Abraham doesn't stop there, which I love. He's got this moxie, this confidence, the guts to be able to bargain with God. So he says, hey, God, okay, what about 5 less people than 50? What if there's 45 people who are innocent, who are not sinful? Will you save the city? And God agrees. And then Abraham drives him down even further. He's persisting in his bargaining by saying, what about 40? What about 30? What about 20? And then finally, God, what about 10? What if there are 10 innocent people in Sodom and Gomorrah? Will you spare those communities? And God relents and says, I will not destroy Sodom and Gomorrah if we can find 10 innocent people. I love that story of persistence. It reminds me a little bit about when I used to buy cars. Back in the day when you'd actually bargain with people. We don't bargain a lot in the United States anymore, but certainly there was a time where you would bargain for a car. If you walked in and just said, how much do you want for that car? You definitely were probably overpaying. And so I would always say, you know what? If I don't walk out with a headache and the dealer doesn't walk away with a headache, then I've probably overpaid for the car. Well, I did that many times and I walked away with headaches. Why? Because I was persistent in the bargain, persistent in trying to barter the person down, trying to make the price as low as possible. Persistence. When we move to the Gospel of Luke, and in that Gospel, Jesus is teaching the disciples how to pray. And so they come to him saying, Lord, teach us how to pray. And Jesus teaches them what we call the Lord's Prayer, the Our Father. But then he tells a story about how we need to be persistent in our prayer. He tells a story about a guy who has some unexpected visitors. And so he goes to his neighbor because his cupboards are bare. He goes to his neighbor to get 3 loaves of bread. And he pounds on the guy's door and asks the guy to open up and give him these 3 loaves of bread. And Jesus says, what if the person who is in the house, what if he doesn't open the door, even because it's his neighbor? What if he doesn't respond? Well, Jesus says he ultimately will respond. Why? Because that guy knocking on his door will be persistent. He needs the loaves of bread for these people who have showed up, so he's going to be persistent in his asking. The message from Jesus is we too need to be persistent in what we're asking for. Our world needs our persistence. There are so many needs in our world. We need peace, we need love, we need hope, we need light. And it's up to us really to provide that. What is it going to take? It's going to take our persistence. How will we be persistent this week in loving, in bringing peace, in bringing hope to a world much in need of hope and light? Let's be people of persistence this week. Let's celebrate persistence. Have a great week, everybody.